Numbani. So we'll see how this goes. So Rayquaza playing Wrecking Ball. Numbani is a pretty good map for Wrecking Ball because of all the high ground and stuff, right? It's not the best map because Shut God that game is bad. BDO? What do you mean BDO? I don't see anyone called BDO. Right. So we'll just get started. We're gonna request, like I was saying, this is a Black Desert Online. Oh, it may have been an ad. Yeah, it was probably just an ad. I should give a little bit of time before actually starting to get pre-rolls off. But yeah, it was probably just an ad. Anywho, we are looking at Rayquaza. And like I said, why is an okay map for Wrecking Ball? No, I'm not working on trailer, just an ad probably. It's an okay one for this map. Like Wrecking Ball is not as good as Monkey for this map because mostly Monkey has much easier access to the high ground, but overall he's okay. And Wrecking Ball, the big advantage is that you don't really need your team, right? If you play Wrecking Ball, you can do things by yourself. A lot of the time. That includes even killing people, capitalizing on engagements, right? You don't have any follow-up, which isn't that good, but like if you get a good dynamite, you can follow up. You can roll through the enemy team, make them slow, avoid the CC, and you'll be fine. Like even now, what's the just this always happens. Spectate lock on, there we go. Stop shooting. This is not that good. Like Wrecking Ball doesn't do a lot of damage at this range, right? He does okay damage at close range with his guns, but his guns are definitely not the selling point of his kit, right? Like you should be trying to look for engagements in the backline, try to get Diana, try to get maybe the Sigma. Being up here and taking damage is not going to do you a lot of good because you cannot really do a lot of damage yourself. And like this engagement is not that good. There is no reason for you to like. One of the big things about Wrecking Ball is that you can use your pile drive without having to grapple in. Sometimes you have to, right? Like if you're in an open map or whatever, or if you don't have the high ground. But in this case, you don't have to grapple into pile drive. You can just pile drive, especially if you're just gonna drop here, which probably comes down from the fact that you hit the thing. But you can just jump off the high ground and pile drive here anyway. You don't need to just go for the grapple because now you just don't have a way out. You're gonna use your shield stuff, like with only part one person, which is not good, but it's okay. But like, you've used all of your cooldowns, taken a ton of damage, and did this much damage, right? It's just a really bad engagement. What you should be looking to do instead is just like, your team set up here, right? You can set up here, or here, or here, and when the enemy comes any which way, you can pile drive on them when they come to here. If they come to here, you can roll through them. If you want to set up like here on the low ground, you can try to grapple into a pile drive. There is no reason for you to just take an engagement where no one else can really do anything. And most importantly, where you yourself cannot do a lot. Because you're basically going, if I do this, you're basically going one before. If you want to count Ash, then two before, but even that's not that good. And you just get deleted, right? You should at least get deleted, like your Baptiste saves your life. Your Baptiste and your Ana actually saved your life. Which is impressive from them, but you basically just fed the enemy all of your HP. You took 150 damage before going in. Like, you should not be taking any damage before going in like this. You took 150 damage before going in. Then you just slammed a single Genji, which is not good. You use both of your cooldowns. You use your shield to only get 200 HP instead of waiting for like a big clump of enemies. Got rocked because you are in the open and just almost died. You went as low as what, 16 HP? And your Baptiste saved your life. And your Ana saved your life and killed the Genji. And your Baptiste took immortality so you did not die. So you both of your support just did like literally absolutely saved your ass. I think you tried to go for a pile drive, but didn't realize you did not have pile drive because you used it earlier. But overall, like, what do I think right now? You are just fading, honestly. Sorry if it sounds very blunt, but you're just going at the front and with no regards for your own safety and with no regards to where your team can actually do anything to help you. Okay, this isn't too bad. Like, you try to go for engagement. McCree isn't the best target, but he's not the worst target. You get some damage in and you get out. That's not too bad. But you, again, use all of your cooldowns. Like, if you're gonna pop the shields, unless they're just stunning you, you can stay for a little longer. Because you got, like, 300 extra health. That basically you can play around with for free. So there's no reason for you to just roll away right away. Unless you're literally about to die like it was the first time. But like here, okay, you go in, you pile drive. I'm okay with that. It's not ideal, but it's okay. But then you just use your you could have just turned around and shot the McCree. You have like a ton of extra health right now. You have like 700 of health. Why did you just get out? Right? It feels to me like you are home for the next hour or two. I'll do yours after this one then. So well, let me just change that. Right. But like, why did you make this engagement if you weren't going to commit to anything? You use all of your cooldowns, like you grapple, you pile drive, you shields, and you just roll away. You could have killed this McCree. He goes very, very low. He goes to 55 HP. If you had shot him, he probably would have died. And Wrecking Ball's clones are actually surprisingly easy to hit with. They don't do a ton of damage, but you know, you can kill people with them pretty good. McCree just stands there, so you do range damage, which kind of okay with. And are you just gonna keep doing this? This is the third time you do this. Like grapple here, try to pile drive onto them. It's not terrible because they are not really pushing, right? They are like, okay, Wrecking Ball comes in, so you're kind of getting value, is what I mean. Wrecking Ball comes in, we try to use cooldowns on Wrecking Ball gets out. But you're not actually doing a lot. And you can just get burst down like that. When they coordinate their damage at all. You're just not doing a lot. And you can be like, I have a lot of ultimate charge. Well, yeah, of course, you've been trying to pile drive people, but taking several engagements and fed them like 1200 HP. Like, they also have a lot of ult charge. I feel like right now just your priorities are very, very wrong. You're not going to get a lot of value going at the Roadhog or, you know, going at the Genji here where no one can tease and where no one can see them. Instead, what you want to do is just let the Roadhog through, right? Let the Roadhog through, then go for the Ana, go for the McCree. You went for the McCree here, but the Roadhog was right here. Sigma and Ana were right here. It's like, why are you going in one before again, right? You just keep doing this. Even if you haven't been punished the first 2 times, eventually they're gonna punish you. And they did, right? And they are not punishing you harder because it is like 2000, it's like relatively low, but the higher you go, the easier it will be for enemies to just, oh, there's a Wrecking Ball, he's a big chunky target, we can just shoot at him, stun him, sleep him, boop him away, right? Like, there is nothing in this team that cannibal the Genji, but even Genji can just go away from you. There is nothing in their team that you can just go on for free. And I feel like you're just thinking you can. Like, also you just keep wasting your cooldowns. Like, these and these are very, very important for your gameplay. And you're just using them for no reason. Like, what's the point of using the shields here? You've got full HP. Right? You don't need 2 shields yet. Wait until you're taking some damage, then you can use the shields. Because these help. Let's see if they even damage you. 850, 850. You're taking no damage, taking no damage, taking no damage. Taking no damage. Now they're shooting at you though, right? Finally, you're taking 50 damage. Right? Just like, why did you pop them that early? If you pop them now, you could have an extra 4 or 500 health. Now. That you are maybe gonna need them to just stall the point. Instead you just have to roll away. They only did basically 50 damage on that few seconds. Okay. So overall I feel like you're engaging too early because your team cannot help you. You're wasting your cooldowns on every engagement, whereas you could be taking, like I said earlier, more advantageous positions to just pile drive the enemy, right? Or you could be here and roll away and pile drive the enemy, or here and pile drive the enemy. If you can engage with the pile drive without using the grapple, you can pile drive, stay, then just grapple away. You don't have to use grapple into pile drive every time. Especially especially when it's gonna cost you your every cooldown. Because thus far what I've seen is that you are just wasting every cooldown. Even now, what's the point of this engagement? Who do you think is going to be able to help you? You've got 2 people dead, both of your DPS in fact dead. Ryan Baptiste all the way back here, and Diorana is like coming back from spawn or something maybe? Yeah, there she is. So what's the point of this? You're just literally asking, hey guys, can you kill me? And at higher ranks, they will. Like this Roadhog makes it suck. Hold on, let's go back to like the Roadhog perspective, you'll see what I mean. Like, yeah, he can see you, and it's like so easy to hook you. He misses it because, you know, he's not very good, but the higher you go, the more that you'll get punished for it. And it's like, you're literally in front of him. And you're coming straight at them. You're not setting up for a flank. You're not setting up on the high ground to go behind them, like I said earlier. You're not really, you're just like, lol people, I go grapple, pile drive, get out. And that's it. That's all you're doing. You just go grapple, pile drive, shields, get out. Hi, Nietzsche. I'll do that 3rd today, maybe 4th if I have time. Okay. Then you pile drive, and I'm like, this McCree could also stun you, right? At this point. He just used the flashbang. But you see what I mean? He stuns you, right? You can get deleted very, very easily. He could have stunned you in the air even before you pile drive. The higher you go, the more you're gonna get punished for this kind of plays. Like, look how much damage you take. And you even use your ultimate. Even, like, who's gonna help you? Why would the enemy not just go around them, clean them with a shield? The shield's red? Okay, we'll check it out. But, like, why all? You're wasting your cooldowns, you're wasting your ultimate. It just feels to me like you're seeing people, going at people, getting out when you can. And you do manage to get out, but it's like, what value did you actually get? You've used your ultimate, you've done basically no damage, right? What you've actually done is you've allowed their support to get more healing charge, because you did a little bit of damage, but of course no one could help you kill them. The mines are not gonna get any value, or they may if the enemy walks into them, but most likely not. And that's it. And you're doing the same thing again, and you're going for this pile drive play. I again feel like you went a little early and you did not realize that you did not have a pile drive yet. So you had to wait for it to be ready. But even here, like, what are you pile driving? Who's gonna kill this McCree if you don't do it, right? Let's assume that, okay, let's say this is a good engagement. I don't think it's a good engagement at all, because, you know, look at how many people you got in front of you. And how many people are only Diana can help you. And she can only heal you for 70 per shot. But even then, let's assume this is a good engagement. Who's going to kill this McCree? Right? If you don't kill this McCree, who's going to kill this McCree? Right? Even if it were a good engagement, which I don't think it is, you're just going in and doing nothing. Except letting them shoot you for all charge. You're not rolling through them to slow them down, which is one of the things Wrecking Ball is really good at, right? If the enemy wants to get close, you can roll through them, boop them backwards. It's also safer than pile drive because you usually have like a shorter wind-up to roll them backwards, and it's not as predictable as, you know, pile driving, which just locks you into motion. You can like boop them back, also usually get some out of the shield or maybe cover. Which can maybe get your DPS from who have longer ranges to do damage. you should be going at the backline to distract them or kill them so that the tanks and the rest of the team don't get any healing. But you're doing none of that. You're literally just running at the people that you can see, pile driving high, grappling high, pile driving, using your shields and rolling away. And that's it. That's all I've seen from you thus far. You take some damage, you go back to get healed. You could roll into the Genji to poop him away from your Baptiste, right? You don't do that either. Like, you see the Genji and you're like, well, not from your Baptiste, you just got bad from your Ana. You're just like, I'm just gonna roll towards the Genji. No, just grapple and boop the Genji away, or bounce off the car and pile drive. That's one of the things you can do with Wrecking Ball. Any surface you can just jump off of will just allow you to pile drive. So it's like, instead of having to pile drive, grapple into a pile drive every time, you can just go for like surfaces like this and pile drive. But that's a little more advanced. For now, I just want you to stop just doing the same thing over and over. This is good though. Like, you go try to help your backline against the Genji, but then you just go away. The Genji's still there, you know. Good pile drive follow into the shatter. But that's, like, I think this is the first kill you've got. The first elimination, maybe even. Not just kill. Which is bad. Like, even here, I'm like, why? What's this? Why are you going for the Roadhog? Right? You should be going for the Ana, or you should be looking out for the Macro behind you. Right? Roadhog is not a target you can do anything against. Also, you can jump this. Like, and again, this is all you're doing. At some point, the enemy is just gonna be like, this Wrecking Ball is just doing this, going for a grapple into pile drive, into shields, and to run away. They actually punish you for it once already. It's like, why would they not do it again, right? And the higher you go, the more they will punish it, because, yeah. And yeah, you're not getting killed because they don't have enough focus to do that, right? Like, they are not all shooting you or changing CC or anything. But like, the higher you go, the more likely it is that you'll get punished for doing that kind of stuff. And even now, I'm like, yeah, just don't. Another thing I haven't seen you do yet, which can be really important at some point, is I haven't seen you take a mega health pack once. Right? Wrecking Ball, like I said earlier, does not require healing. Because with his speed, you can go in, distract the enemy for a long time, get out, and get your own health. You can roll around the map in like seconds, getting mega health packs and re-engaging. You don't have to wait for your healers to heal you. Fuck them, right? You just go like, well, I big pile drive, I get the mega, I get out, right? Let's say when you pile drive here, and you got killed, maybe instead of just trying to roll out, you roll inside, get the mega, then roll through them again, right? Which is even easier when you go for not a grapple pile drive, but you set up on the high ground, pile drive in, roll through here, grapple here, your way back, boop them forward into the point, right? Something like that. But you can see how the flow of Wrecking Ball's gameplay really changes when you're just not doing the same thing over and over. You can just set up on the high ground, then pile drive in, like you get 3 or 4 people on the pile drive. If you have to pop your shields, you do it, but if you don't, then you just roll and get the mega. Then you roll out that way, you grapple here, you boop them forward, boom, now they're in line of sight of your Rhine, of your Ashe, of your Torjon, of your Pap, of your Ana, right? Instead of being safe here where they have, they're still very vulnerable, but it's not as easy to hit them. Now they're all here, and your team just deletes them. So it's not about just going in, doing pile drive and getting out. Pile drive is definitely your most important ability. It does, oh my god. Okay. It does like a lot of damage. Yes, it does 100 damage. It's very important, but you don't want to just use pile drive. Especially when like they have so many ways of stopping you. I'm surprised you haven't been punished more, considering how many ways they have of punishing you. But the higher you go, the more you'll just get deleted. Will you do mine today? Probably not. I don't think I'll have time. Maybe yes. Let me check. List. We got this one, Arjun, then Sakri, then Icy, then you. So probably not today. Unfortunately. I'll do it on Tuesday, most likely. Okay, so you roll back, you're like, it's Karma. Yeah, I know. I've seen it, because your Discord name is Karma. This could be a really good pile drive. By the way, you could mines before the pile drive too. You do it after. The reason I say you should drive, you should mines before the pile drive is that if you pop your mine, and this is the simplest reason, there is obviously more nuances to when to pile drive than mines or mines and pile drive, or just use mines and not pile drive. But the general idea is that if you mines up here, they have more time to get activated and they spread out more, covering a longer distance, right? So when you pile drive and send people up, when they start coming down again, the mines are already active, so you can get people very easily. Instead, you see that you pile drive, then activate mines, and they can just walk away from them. Or you speed, and you don't stay on the point. Why did you not stay on the point? I thought the idea of this was, I'm gonna contest the point. But you can see that your one-track mind is just like, grapple, okay, pile drive, again, and I can keep coming back to this because it's all you're doing. Grapple, pile drives, might as well press Q, and then you just roll out. You should have stayed and contested the payload. Like, if you're gonna invest an ultimate, stay to contest the payload. So that your team is, this actually, I'm more than okay with this engagement. Your team is like around the corner, ready to go if we can. And if you can stall the payload, your team has time, and we've got like some ultimates. We can win this, or at the very least get Nano played out, maybe High Noon, maybe beat out, right? Why did you just roll away? I thought the idea was contesting the payload, but you just roll away from it. Okay, well. And you go for the... You are just going for the same thing again. Grapple above the enemy, go for the pile drive, roll out. Like, you're just gonna get caught out. Like, the more you do this, you're just gonna get out more and more doing the same game. Especially against higher ranked people. They are just gonna be like, oh, Wrecking Ball's just doing this, boop. Not even... They will not even have to stop once. They'll just see you going for it and stop you with, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cooldowns. You got a health pack, but this looks like a lost game. A lost fight at least. Why shields with no one around you? This is good though, like, instead of using a health pack, you come back to the spawn to get healing, which is okay. We already got post support ultimate, so we don't really need to give it to them. Grapple high, pile drive, shields, roll out. You got slept, but you were about to roll out, and you're still gonna roll out. Do you see how easy it is to predict what you're gonna do? You're just doing the same thing every time. Then you tried shooting people from Narnia. This is not your effective range. Wrecking Ball's effective range is actually surprisingly low. Well, it's... I'll take it back. It's actually pretty good. He's got like pretty decent range. I think it's like 20 meters, so like kind of similar to McCree's. It's 15 meters actually. So not quite McCree's, but it's pretty decent. But it's not this long, right? Like 15 meters, half an hour, 4 minutes. 15 meters is... Hello, thank you. Top speed reached. 15 meters is like this. This is the range you can work with, right? It's not this. This is 25. This is like the entail of your damage. You can still do okay damage, but it's like okay damage for tickling people. Like if you see a Pharah, you annoy the Pharah. If you see a Mercy, you can annoy the Mercy so she doesn't get healing, right? If you see a tank, you do a little damage to the tank so that they don't have free resources for everything. But it's not like I'm gonna shoot them from this range. Because you can see how low your damage goes. You need like an entire clip to kill someone at this range. Like quite literally just 20, about 25 bullets left. Meanwhile, if you're a little closer, I only need like 20 bullets. It's a lot less damage when you're that far away. And yeah, he's got the potential to poke people, right? But you're most effective when up close, not literally on their faces, but like at this range at most. Because otherwise you are losing a lot of the damage. And yeah, I showed you what I usually do, which is I'll take a high ground, right? Then I'll set up. I'll wait for the enemy to be somewhere I want it to be, right? Like, I don't know, let's say that the enemy is walking around this corner. I go for the pile drive. I missed it because I'm a moron, but then you just kill them, right? That's it. Hello, Anki. And that's it. Like, let's use this one for example because it's not. You're doing bots? Yeah. I got enough for today, but I'll keep doing them on my Discord. Let me get you the Discord. I have a queue on my Discord that just goes. Basically, I go off that. And you just pile drive off the high ground, right? Go some over the air, shoot them melee, and that's it. And you just get out if you want to, or stay in. That's it. You don't. And again, the whole point was you don't want to shoot people at this range. This is not good enough. Just get close. Most of your abilities are really good up close. Even melee is a really good ability for Wrecking Ball. He doesn't do more damage, but because you're really close, and sometimes you have to re-aim, right? You can throw a melee in. But I just wanted to point out that this thing you're doing, what was it, Bunny? It's just not gonna work. What were we, like 5 minutes in? A little bit for the back. No, a little bit for forward actually. You're switching to a window. So, about here, right? What's this gonna do? You're so far away. You don't do basically any damage, any considerable damage with this range. Also, you could be using the time. One thing you may not know with Wrecking Ball is that when you are in Wrecking Ball form for 3 seconds, you automatically reload. So instead of just reloading, you can go into ball form, go around, try to find somewhere, right? And then you come out of full form if you have to and shoot. But when just reloading out there is not gonna do you anything. Grapple high, or you try to go for the grapple high at least. You just miss it. Pop your shields, which you did not need. Yeah, you're just basically just wasting your cooldowns over and over with no reason and always doing the same thing. It's like you don't really know how Wrecking Ball works, right? Because you're just doing the same thing. You saw someone do this and you were like, that looks like fun, I'll do it. But Wrecking Ball is a lot more complex than that. You should be rolling in sometimes, right? Like, disrupt the enemy. Wrecking Ball is a disruption tank. He gets value by disrupting the enemy, and while yes, the Pallor does disrupt the enemy, if you're just predictable, they will just counter it. Especially at higher ranks. Instead, you can roll at the Ana, try to kill the Ana at close range. He does decent damage at close range, right? With his left clicks. If you see her going for the sleep, you can just press left shift, which sends you into ball form and immediately changes your momentum. You can do that kind of stuff. You can duel an Ana. You can go annoy the Ana. You don't even have to kill her. If she goes away and is no longer healing her team, you've won that fight. You can just turn around and pincer them. And then you can maybe go for a pile drive. Or you can engage from the high ground with a pile drive. There are so many options with Wrecking Ball. Because he's one of the heroes with the most mobility in the game. And you're using none of them. You're always using the same thing. And that's it. That's all you're doing. Like, even now, I would just be like, okay, they are using full hog here. I'm just gonna go around, maybe grapple here, go for the Ana, right? If you're gonna grapple into a pile drive, that's okay. You just have to go for the Ana instead, right? It's okay to one person, is fine. If you kill the Ana, it's a one fight. They don't have any more healing after that. But instead, it looks to me like you're just trying to go down main. You're preparing to go back down main, right? And this is all you do. You grapple above the enemy team, like the front line of the enemy team, you pile drive, and you try to get value. It's just painfully obvious. That's all you do. Good ult though. Yeah, good ult. Ult was good, no complaints. Grapple, go roll at them. You have your grapple. But I keep saying this. You don't need to grapple high to go for the pile drive. In this case, it's not terrible, but I was gonna say, makes you very predictable, and sometimes they will be able to hit cooldowns on you, right? Like Ana can sleep you, McCree can stun you, hooks, rocks, even a boop that sends you off. In this case, you get slept, right? And like I said, it becomes the more predictable you are, the easier it is for them, and you are just very predictable. Go for something different every now and then. Roll through them. Especially because when you roll through someone, you are less predictable because you can move, like basically as you want. Piledrive locks you into a thing. Posted good. I'll probably do it like sometime next week because like I said, I already have enough for today. So maybe Tuesday, maybe Thursday, depending on how many there are. But it's on the queue, so I'll do it at some point literally this coming week. Grapple high, pile drive, shields get out. That's it. Who's gonna do anything with what you did? You just gave them a lot of HP for no reason, and you died too. I hope that this just really illustrates how you are just doing the same thing over and over, and even though it got you value a couple times, most times it's just not getting you value, especially now that they know what you're gonna do. You grab on the point because you have to get out of high noon, you spin to win. Another thing you can do, by the way, you don't need to spin to win. You can roll off, like I said earlier, roll off the high ground, jump and pile drive, and then grapple in, right? You have options with Wrecking Ball. He's got a ton of mobility. And using the least amount of options to engage you can is always better, because it saves you options for later. The patch, what the coupon send you? I will check. I can do that one instead if you just want me to try that one. But we'll check if the patch wiped it. In case you wanted, I think you were playing Ana. So in case you wanted Ana advice, Ana second opinion rather, because at your level, you know, I can't really give you advice, just a second opinion. Okay, so Roadhog no hook. This means you can try to roll away and shoot at the Roadhog a little bit. That's okay. Yeah, this is fine. And now you get away. That doesn't... Okay, well, you go in. You pile drive. You use your shields and you get out. Okay. Okay. I think we've identified the problem. You literally do the same thing every single time. And it's not a good thing to do. Sometimes it's a good idea, right? But you cannot only be doing this. Like, Wrecking Ball is a hero with so many options. You need to roll through people. You need to set up on the high ground and just engage with pile drive. You need to shoot people when you're close, right? It's not only the way you engage, but also what you do after you engage. You always do grapple, pile drive, shields, roll away. If you want to, you can do grapple, pile drive, stay, shoot people, wait until someone starts shooting you, then shields. When you shields, shielding gives you time usually as well, so you don't have to roll away right away because you're just wasting your shields, right? The idea of shields is staying in for longer, not getting out, unless they have like 1,000,000 burst damage, which in this case they do slightly, but that's beside the point. You're always, like, a lot of the time you're just getting away with a lot of shields, whereas you could be using these shields to shoot at someone, especially after you pile drive, because pile drive does 100 damage. So you could kill someone with a melee and some shooting, right? Before rolling away, because your shields give you time. It's about just changing things up. Again, you have a lot of tools in your disposal. You've got the grapple, right? You got the pile drive. You got the shields, which is the ones you are mostly using. You can roll. Let's delete roll because that actually goes in with grapple. But you can shoot. And you can melee. And you are not using any of these when you engage. You are using them like, oh, I'm far away from the enemy, I'm gonna shoot them because I have no other options, and that's not what you use them. You are always using these in the same order, and that's it. Whereas you could be mixing them up. You could pile drive first, then shields, then grapple. Or you could pile drive, then grapple, and don't use the shields if you don't have to. Or you could pile drive, then shoot, right? then shields, then keep shooting again, then grapple away. You've got a lot of options that are really good. And you're just doing the same thing over and over. And you're literally just not shooting and not meleeing. And the reason I say why melee is so important, I'll show it later as well. Someone sleeping behind you, you did not turn around to kill them. Grapple into pile drive, you're shooting people, good. And you haven't used your shields, right? You're changing things up, I like it, it's like you heard me. And then you just roll away without using your shields, right? That was pretty good. That was decent, right? You did not use all of your cooldowns, which means you can re-engage right away. You go for a boot pile drive, the target is the wrong target, probably should be on the McCree, maybe on the Ana back here, but you know, let's ignore that. You do that, you grapple, you shoot at someone, you try to shoot at someone, you don't really, like, you need to learn where people will go after you pile drive them, because it's always a set motion, and you can always track it to kill them. But like, you shoot a little bit, then you roll away, right? You're like, okay, I'm gonna take damage if I stay, because they have a Roadhog and a McCree. You roll away, and look at this. You're basically ready to go again. Oh my god, that's spam. Okay. Right? You can just go in right away. Like, even though you just use pile drive, you save this, you have this again, and that's it. You can just go again because you have your cooldowns. You don't have to wait for pile drive. You are waiting for pile drive, which I don't like. But you could have just like gone back here, set up for a grapple here, go for the Ana. Maybe grapple high, take the high ground, shoot at the Ana from above. You got options, okay? You broke the hook, which is solid. But you are just literally waiting for the pile drive, and that's it, which is unfortunate when you have so many options. Because you saved 2 options, you only use like, well, you use the grapple, but the grapple comes back fast. So it's like, even though you used it, it's like, okay. They're gonna see, you try to go for a backup, but I don't hate it, honestly. Like, you distract people, Anas, Reinhardt, you create space, that's not bad. But I'm like, you should probably not just stay here. What I would do is, yeah, contest the point for a little bit. When people start thinking around, roll to the high ground, set up here, then you can go for a pile drive over here. You can just shoot them from the high ground, right? You can drop with a pile drive. At this point, there is no longer a point in contesting the objective, right? Someone is already on it, so you being here is not gonna do anything. Like, you're not gonna kill the Reinhardt, and you're not gonna kill Diana because she's got a Reinhardt and the McCree protecting her. So when you go back like this, and try to get back on point, there is no point to it. And use your shields for no reason either, because you should be setting up for the next play, right? You don't even, like, you move people around a little bit. And the space you created is good, because, again, you force them back, and that allows your team to go forward. But there was no reason for you to use a lot of cooldowns and stay for such a long time. Again, you don't need to grapple for the pile drive. You're just gonna spin to win. Yeah, you just try to spin to win. But we have to get out. No. This time, don't go in. Let your Moira heal you, because she doesn't have ultimate, and we can get the ultimate, right? Just let your Moira heal you. When you're missing health, yes, I know. The point is right here. The Mega is right here. And yeah, sometimes most of the time, you want to pick the Mega. But in this case, we are not gonna win this fight. People are regrouping. Moira is in spawn. You just let her heal you for the coalescence, which is really good. Like, she actually is trying to heal you. And you just cacked her out of like 20% ult charge. I wonder how you're gonna engage this. Are you gonna grapple, go for a pile drive, shields, and get out? Grapple, pile drive, shields, get out. You have 800 HP. You are literally wasting your shields almost every time. Because when the enemy sees the shield, they're just like, let him go away. We are not gonna kill him, but we don't need to shoot him either. Okay, grapple, pile drive. You don't have shields, but you still roll forward. That rank kill would be really good. That's pretty solid. Careful with the high note. You just rolled into the pulse bomb. Okay, let's ignore that one. Okay, that's unfortunate, but at least they use like 5 ultimates. You can do the tracer, by the way. Okay, I like this. You took the high ground, which means you can engage without the grapple. You can just jump above them, use your mines, pile around your point, boop them around a little bit with the grapple, which is gonna be really good because there's going to be mines all over the point, right? Like, the mines are just gonna be scattered around the point, and you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna boop everyone around and get a lot of value. No, this is not good. You're not gonna kill the Reinhardt. If you had gone for the Ana, I would have been more okay with it, but Reinhardt has too much health for you, and again, this range is like a little too far for you. Jump into mines, into pile drive. Why did you not mines? You are gonna mines now, right? Yeah. Again, mines in the air, let the mines spread out a lot more. And also just drops them early, which activates them earlier too. That's the big thing, it will activate them earlier. You still got value, which is solid, but... And the big thing is you engage without the grapple, so now you can just grapple, go get a health pack, come back. Also have coalescence, so you don't have to go anywhere. But yeah, we won this fight, and that was pretty solid. And all you had to do was just take the high ground so you could clear the high ground for your team and kill people. And you just got like a 5k actually, which is silly. Did you just get a 6k? Did you just get a 6k? No, you're... oh my god. You don't actually kill one. So you kill one. You kill two. You kill three. You kill four. You kill five. There you go. Solid play. You waste your grapple for no reason. Which is sad because you could have released it there to boop the enemy team away. Then you go for grapple, pile drive. I like this. Your grapple, even though you're still using the grapple pile drive as your default engagement, at least you're not just shielding and rolling away every time. Now you're like, okay, I'm going to shoot at something. Again, Ana would be a better target. You don't do a lot of damage, and Reinhardt's armor actually halves your damage as well. So Ryan's just not a great target. Maybe the anti-Roto could have been a good target too. Usually want to go for squishies, because 100 damage is a lot of damage against squishies. It's literally half of their health. But at least you're like staying, right? You're staying for a little bit. You did not stay for as long as I would have liked, but you still stayed for a little bit, which is more than I can say for earlier. Also, you keep trying to engage without your pile drive. You can see the cooldown over here. You just keep an eye on it, or get used to it. Oh! Second time you roll into a pulse bomb. A pulse bomb can still do damage, even if you get stuck by it. Okay, you grapple pile drive, and the Roto is like, okay, I will hook you, but they don't have follow-up, so it's you survive. Are you gonna grapple again? That Rotok is hacked, you could go shoot the Rotok. Again, there's some mega health pack over here that you can just very easily roll and get. This time Rotok got it. They use speed, so good job on that one. See, that's one where you can be like, okay, well, the enemy is all split. I can go for one person, they're not gonna stop me. I'm gonna help the buff get the kill or just get the kill myself. You can chase at Ana, you're very mobile. Why do you go for the Rotok instead? You saw the Ana. Like, we can probably kill the Rotok, but that Ana was a better target. Pile drive, mines. You don't even mines, okay, but you just shields and roll away. I just really want you to realize that you have a lot more options that you are not exploring. And I just really want you to make use of those options. Also, you are wasting your shields as well. Like, literally just wasting your shields most of the time. The purpose of the shields is to be able to stay longer and distract the enemy team for longer. You're just using them and rolling away. Which means you just roll away with a bunch of shields. And that's it. You just don't use them for anything. Behind you. High noon. Okay, they're just using ultimate, so we just reset. Just reset. Just reset. We use nano actually, so maybe not reset. They also use nano though. Your rank got 2 kills somehow. But yeah, this is just lost fight. And has been for a while, by the way. They got the first 2 picks very early on. Try to help kill the Lucio, but he's too far away. Don't roll in because there's a Roadhog in front of you. He's just gonna hook you every time. We've been through this. This is like the 4th time you're just rolling into a Roadhog. You haven't died every time. This is like the 2nd or 3rd time you actually die. But yeah. Do you guys get full health? It looks like you maybe get full health. Well, not full health, just health on 3rd. Do you see what I mean when I say that you've just become very predictable? You're just going in, getting hooked at this point, and having to get out. He just used the hook. You could engage now. If you're just gonna keep doing the same thing over and over, at the very least keep track of the hook, keep track of the stun, so that you can just engage without having to worry about the hook. Oh, that's painful. That's this one, right? This was this one? That's insane. I would not expect this level of awareness and response time from like a gold player. That's very good. Literally interrupt the DMP. That's just silly. We may win the fight anyway, but that was incredibly good reaction time. Or maybe he just got lucky. You can try to go for a grappled pile drive, and pile drive is not of cooldown when you go for it. You can boop people, by the way, so you can just grapple, boop people backwards so your team doesn't have to deal with it. Instead of shooting him and not doing a ton of damage. Good shot there. Go forward! Go in! You have all of your cooldowns, all of your health. Okay, you're going. You did not go very well. Okay, this is probably a lost fight, but maybe it's winnable if you regroup. Dueling the fucking ball, aim for the head. The head is, you know, double damage. Okay. Good hack from your Sombra. We punish the Wrecking Ball. At this point, I'm not going to comment on a lot more because we've already seen and established the main problems. Number 1, you're just very predictable. You're doing the same thing. And they've started to wisen up to it. Like, especially the Roadhog is just Wrecking Ball. It's just rolling at us every time because he's got to grapple on the high ground to pile drive, right? So I'm just gonna hook him and kill him. Instead, you've got the options. You can come this way. You can come this way behind them to try to get the best of them, right? Stop just rolling at the front line. You're doing the same thing at the entire time. And you're not even targeting the right things. You're just going for whatever people are on the front line. Could have used mines there, but you didn't. You're probably saving them, but it's just okay. You go away from both of your healers. Your healers are trying to follow you so bad, man. You literally got your Moira killed. Dude. Just wait. Like, that Moira was... Look at this Moira. She's so desperate. She's like... I do a little damage, I have my resource back. Oh, my Wrecking Ball is healing. I'm gonna heal my Wrecking Ball. Okay. Wrecking Ball! I'm gonna heal you, Wrecking Ball! Wrecking Ball, no! And changes his dice. That's it. You avoided your Moira for that entire time. This is very unfortunate. Okay, we have one more fight. Again, you can just take the high ground. You go in for a... I assume that you go in to try to get mines at some point. Shields very early again. You did not need them. You were at full health. And not only were you at full health, you could have saved them from where you had more people in. You don't need to spin to win. We are not really trying to... Okay, careful about the mines. You need to touch pointer. You're just rolling all the way back for a mini. You're just throwing at this point. Can you even touch? No, okay. But the big things, okay. And I wanted to show something and I already forgot. Oh yeah, that people always go in the same arc, let's call it, when you pile drive. It's always the same, right? This is what you're doing. Okay, this is fine. Just learn that they go on always on that same arc. It's just harder to show on those ones because they just got put like that. But if you're gonna do the same thing every time, just learn that people will always go on the same arc, right? Always go up a little bit and down. You can just kill them. That's it. You can learn that. You can add that to your repertoire. Go on people that are by themselves. Stop being predictable and stop wasting your shields. Those are the most important two things. Because a lot of the time you're just using your shields, getting out. And you get out with like 200 or 300 shields, which is just bad. You can use this to stay longer in the fight. And you're just like very predictable. You're always doing the same thing. You're always just grapple, pile drive. At least shoot something. Okay. I'll take a 3-minute break to get water and go to the bathroom, and then I'll do Arjun's next. So Arjun, if you're still in chat, you're up next. I'll be back in 3 minutes, chat.